us a general sense of whether or not it's working. Would anyone else like to talk into the microphone this morning? You gotta speak. Yeah, be appropriate, yeah. Go ahead. Whenever you're ready. Interesting, yes.
Hi.
Yeah, very good, very good. It is amplifying your voice as we hope it would, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. That might need to go down just a tad, right? This is about as soft as I can talk. Good morning, everybody. It is good to see you. We are glad you are here with us this morning. If you are joining us online, we're glad you're here as well in that space. Could one of you stop the Spotify music? Thanks so much. It's nice. I just want to sit here and okay, now we're ready. All right. Good morning. It is good to be together this morning on this cold, cold morning. It is very cold outside, so it's good to see you all here. Some really great things are happening this week that we want to talk about for just a few minutes this morning. First of all, how many of you have ever heard of an art camp called Create? I mean, I think more of you should probably be raising your hand because you were involved in it last year. All right. I have to brag about the Create planning team just a little bit because we're like on top of things in a way that is just amazing to me. You can pre-register already. Did you know this? What? Thank you, Bethany, the one person who already knew that in the room. You can actually pre-register. You don't have to pay for anything. You're not choosing classes. All you have to do is say, my kid's coming. This is how old my child is. And then you get first dibs on classes when registration opens. Okay? So I know it's a big deal. So like your kid's probably going to get your first choice of class. Chris DeBlay has questions. What is Create? It's a fabulous question. Create is an art camp that we hold every summer for kids who are in kindergarten through 8th grade. We have a whole bunch of different options for class options. We've had stuff like recycled art and photography and a band that came up. All right, I'll give you a sneak preview of a class. There's going to be a trash fashion class. So, like this is the scale. We go super fun. We have a great week together, and we end it with a celebration. So, this is for kids, of course, that are a part of our community, both our faith community, our larger community, and anybody you know. So, feel free to share this. Invite people you know. All of a sudden, there's a child on the floor. Hi, Francie. Francie's coming. Are you coming to Create? Yes, excellent. So pre-register now, and then more info to come soon about some details. All right, BEMA discussion group. If you are part of that group, just a quick reminder, you're meeting at lunchtime today instead of the evening, so you can watch, or not, a football game that some of you may be a little sad about, but in Kevin's head, he already told me the Lions are playing, so y'all can join him there if you want to. All right. Are you well? No. Starting next week, Sunday, we're gonna do things a little bit differently. If you've been a part of this community for a couple of years, you will have experienced this before. If you haven't, this might be new. We're gonna do something that we called Group Sundays. It is a way for us to start the morning all together, and then we split into these smaller groups and do something together. There's a discussion group, an art group, a cooking group. We'll get to the details here in just a second. But this is a way that we can connect with each other in a different way, in a little bit of a deeper way. It's a way that we can experience our connection with God in a different way. So that's why we do these things. So for the next 3 weeks, you're going to have a chance to be in a smaller group with people and get to know some people and do some good things together. All right, you want to know what the group options are before you go and sign up? I have friends helping me. They're already up there. It's fine. I told them to. I did. It's all good. Yeah, Nate's going to talk about a group, and then Bethany's going to talk about a group. Well done. Do you need me to hold your mic? You good?
No, all right. I just decided to get food later than the rest of us. Hi, everyone. I'm Nate, and Micah, my soon-to-be 20-year-old son, and I are delighted to lead the group Sunday where we discuss contemporary matters that have some social relevance, that have some spiritual relevance, and the purpose of it is just to build community and to get our group, whoever shows up, to think a little bit deeper than just surfacey issues. So we have great conversations that are prompted by a friend of mine who writes these questions weekly and sends them out to a whole network. He sends them to a group called Pub Theology, but we won't be serving here at the branch next week. We will just be having tea and coffee and having wonderful discussion. So if you'd like to be a part of a group that's discussing relevant issues, come join us with the discussion group with Micah and Nate. And Chris says this is the group for online folks as well.
And I'm Bethany. Oh, sorry, Nate. And maybe I should say I'm going to have coffee and tea in my group too. I don't know if that's. I don't know. And we're going to do co-regulation, which we did at the end of the week 3 of emotions. We did a bunch of those practices together. And this is just going to be a chance to do it more and to even be more like reflective as individuals. What am I noticing about myself? What's it like? What comes up for me? And also primarily to experience connection, which I think will be such a resource to us in these coming weeks. It is the kind of group that you can just come to once, so you don't have to commit to all 3 weeks, and you can decide last minute as well.
Thank you, Bethany. Nate, is that true for your group as well? Where did he go? There you are. Is that true for your group as well? Once or 3 times? Do you have a preference? All right. There you go. Once or twice or all the times? Yep. So then there's going to be a couple of other groups. An art group led by Becky DeGraff, who is not here this morning. Do you know what a peace pole is? Do you all know these things? These posts, like a 4x4 post that you put in your garden that have whatever artwork you want to have on them. Often they have messages of peace, hence why they're called the peace pole. But you can put whatever you want on them. So you all are going to be able to, whoever joins that class is going to be able to make one for yourself to take home. And we're going to make a collaborative one that will stay here in our garden space as well. So that will be lovely and beautiful. And then there's a games group, board games. Sit, have fun, laugh, get a little competitive, because I know you all. Have some fun over a games group. This one is great for a lot of ages. So kids, younger kids, that will be available as well. The cooking group, kids can come with their families. That art group, people can come with their families. Do you want to talk about the cooking group, or do you want me to talk about the cooking group? Excellent.
As you know, I'm an expert chef, and so it made sense for me to lead this group. Bring your knives and other cooking. No, don't. Listen, what we do in this group is down in our kitchen, we make a meal together. We all take different parts of it. Again, kids are definitely welcome to participate. It's a great kind of shared experience. The first 2 weeks, we're going to be making a meal for AYA, an organization here in Grand Rapids that supports unhoused youth. And then the third week happens to be a branch students Sunday, and so we're going to make the lunch for them that they'll take with them and have for their gathering together. So that's what we're doing and that's the same. Come for one of those or come for all 3 of them. Yep.
I about forgot my own group, the one that I'm leading. We're going to have a music group this year. This time around, this is a new group that we're doing. I don't know exactly what it looks like because it depends on who signs up. This one I would ask you, if you're going to join this group, to come to as many as possible that you're here. So we are going to see who shows up, and it might be a choir, it might be a band, it might be something together, it might be some musical theater, who knows? So if you like to create music, it's probably not going to be musical theater. No, that's not going to happen. Let's be honest. If you like to create music, I'd love to have you join me for that one. Questions, come talk to any of us. The group leaders will probably fight for your joining, but that's okay. So, any questions, come talk to us about any of those things. All right, moving on this morning. Stephanie, are you leading this call to worship? Awesome, come on up. Stephanie is going to lead us in a call to worship. The words are not going to be on the screen, so she's just going to, you want to do it together? Should we do it together? You want to be one or all?
Oh, I want to be all.
Awesome. We're going to read this call to worship together. This is based on Matthew 11, verse 28. We have gathered together each from our homes,
Jesus invites us to come
and so we come as we are,
with our faith and with our doubts,
with our hopes and our frustrations.
with our joys and with our sorrows.
Jesus longs for us to come,
And so we come.
bringing with us every event, experience, and emotion of this past week.
Jesus, draw us near.
Jesus says,
Come to me,
all you who are weary and carrying heavy burdens.
and I will give you rest.
And so we come.
In the beauty of this moment and this gathering, we come. Amen.
Would you join us as we sing? You're invited to stand and sing with us as these young ladies lead us in song. But if it's a day that you feel like you just need to sit and listen to the words, you are invited to do that as well. Let's sing together.
All this pain, I wonder if I'll ever find my way. I wonder if my life could really change at all. All this earth, could all that is lost ever be found? Could a garden come up from this ground at all? You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. All around, hope is springing up from this old ground. Out of chaos, life is being found in you. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. And you make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. And you make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. You make me new. You are making me new. You make me new. You are making me new. You make me new. You are making me new. You make me new. You
We believe in a God who makes beautiful things out of the dust. And if you look around the world on any given moment, maybe especially in the last few weeks, it's easy to see where there's lots of dust. And it's sometimes hard to see where the beauty is. We're going to talk a lot more about beauty this morning coming up here in a little bit. But I think one of the beautiful things that God makes is our opportunity to live into making things beautiful. And one way we can do that is by paying attention and getting involved where things are hard and where people are hurting, where we see the world not flourishing as it should. There are things that we can do. We're going to pause here in a minute to pray for people who are hurting and confused and scared right now because of executive orders that are confusing and pulling funding and reinstituting funding and all of these things. People who have lost support in housing, in education. We partnered a few years ago, back in 2020 or 2021, with an organization in town called Samaritas to help resettle a refugee family from Afghanistan. So I keep getting emails from Samaritas about, hey, we've lost this funding, here's how you can help. So there's a QR code coming up here. The next one, Mark, sorry, I went backwards. There's a QR code here. If supporting refugees and immigrants is something on your heart, this is a tangible way you can donate funds to support them. They've lost all of their funding to help resettle these refugees. They do really, really good work. There's numerous organizations out there that do really good work. This is just one that we have a connection to. The denomination of which we're a part, the Reformed Church in America, has put out a statement in this last week about how we as people of faith should be people who support immigrants and refugees. That is who we are. We are people of love. We are people of care. We are people who want the flourishing of all people. And if we want to do that, guess what? It's time to get our hands dirty a little bit, right? So the RCA put out a really great statement. I thought it was really great about support of immigrants and refugees in this time that is so very confusing for them. As a church, we're trying to figure out what our corporate job is, right? How we respond to immigration officials, what we can do, what we should do. Nate has been doing a lot of work. Nate's going to come back up. He's like special guest today. He's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, trying to gather resources and find the ways that we can actually help. So he's going to share something about that now.
If we can go to the next one. Yes. So for several months, I've been in touch with local leaders who are part of an organization called Church World Service. And similar to the Samaritas folks who this congregation is partnered with, they are assisting in local refugee resettlement. And so one of the key facts that you need to know is that there are refugees who've come to our community who have had their funding completely shut off, and the helpers who are positioned to walk with them for the critical first 90 days have been told to stop working with them. So this is a really difficult thing for the families that are most immediately affected, but I think it's an opportunity for people of faith to learn more, to donate either to Samaritas or Church World Service, locally, the Grand Rapids branch, and for groups to consider sponsorship. Because whereas organizations were helping directly in the sponsorship process, now that, from my perspective, now that's up to us. That's up to the church. So I have friends who are in ministry all across West Michigan, and I've decided to host a webinar with church leaders across West Michigan to build awareness, raise the financial support, and invite people to sponsorship. And so I think it'll be an informative time, Thursday, February 20 at 7 p.m. And I would just encourage you to grow in your awareness of what's happening right here in our community.
Thanks, Nate. That is all online, true? That is not, okay. There's a lot that we can do. There is no shortage of need, and there's no shortage of opportunity to support people who are hurting. In this moment, let's offer a prayer together. You're going to have some words in this prayer. I'll say a phrase, and then your words are, God be near, okay? And we'll go slowly, so whatever comes to mind, you'll have some space to think about people or organizations or whatever that is that you draw to mind and bring to God as well. Let's pray together. God, for those who are hurting, God, be near. To those who are hiding, God, be near. To those who are scared, God, be near. To those who are confused, God, be near. To those who are separated from loved ones, God, be near. To those who are working so many hours to care for immigrants, God, be near. To those who are seeking ways to help, God, be near. May we be those people, God, who draw near with your love and your compassion. Amen. We'll keep bringing to your attention ways that we know that we can help and support. Thank you for being people of love and goodness and flourishing in the world. All right, kiddos, you are going to head to the back with Noelle and Bethany and Clarence and Elsa. Before you head out, though, we're going to send you with a blessing that will be up on the screen here. Friends, would you say these words with me over our kids and leaders? May your time together be filled with wonder, joy, and friendship. You are loved. Have fun. We'll see you soon. The rest of you, stand up and go say hello to somebody you don't know or somebody you maybe haven't seen in a while. If you're online, we'd love to hear where you're coming from as well this morning.
All right, folks, how about if we start moving back to our seats? Whether you're with us in person or online, both may apply. Good to be together. Important to be together. Always true, but it feels especially so at this time that we are in. Last week, if you were here, one of the things that Teresa had us do as a practice was we created a shared playlist. Did you get to see that? How many of you got to play through that playlist this week? She's not here at the moment. We'll maybe find a way to get that back up here. We had a QR code last week. We just invited people to let us know what songs inspired them or uplifted them or were just favorite songs of them. And I'm telling you what, this is the most eclectic playlist in the world. Stevie Wonder and Eminem and Avalon. Does that ring anybody's bell? Oh my gosh. Did you put that on there? I suspected it might have been you, yep. It brought me back. I loved it. And so not only was a lot of the music just to me personally uplifting, and it did all the things we hoped it would do, it also gave me a great appreciation for this group of people who is itself quite eclectic. And yeah, I had a lot of lovely thoughts about you all as I was listening this week. So maybe, I know we have that slide, so we'll see if we can get that back up, or if you need it, let us know and we'll help you find it. It's good stuff. If you didn't know, the Bible, in a way, has its own playlist. And it's this book that we call the Psalms. Kind of right in the middle of your Bible, if you were to open it up, you'd probably land somewhere near the Psalms. It's a very large book of music. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the notations. We don't know the tune. That's a real bummer. But we do have the lyrics. And I think it's important to read the Psalms remembering the form of writing that they are trying to communicate what all music, I think, is in part trying to communicate, which is the human experience, the highs and the lows. I mean, if you want to talk about an eclectic sort of playlist, the Psalms also fit the bill, because you get the grandest of grand, the highest of highs, and you also get the lowest of lows. Here's Psalm 5. Mark will have the first couple parts of it. We'll go to verse 8 together. This is a low of the lows sort of song. This is a lament. O Lord, hear me as I pray. Pay attention to my groaning. Listen to my cry for help, my King and my God, for I pray to no one but you. Listen to my voice in the morning, Lord. Each morning I bring my requests to you and wait expectantly. Oh God, you take no pleasure in wickedness. You cannot tolerate the sins of the wicked. Therefore the proud may not stand in your presence, for you hate all who do evil. You will destroy those who tell lies. The Lord detests murderers and deceivers. Because of your unfailing love, though, I can enter your house. I will worship at your temple with deepest awe. Lead me in the right path, O Lord, or my enemies will conquer me. Make your way plain for me to follow. The psalmist begins with groaning. Every morning waking up and asking God to show up. That feels quite familiar to me these days. Groaning. Groaning is something you do when you don't quite have the words. When you're not sure exactly what to say, but you know things are not as they should be. Every morning waking up, maybe you have the bad habit. I'll tell you it's a bad habit. I have it too, of waking up and grabbing your phone and reading the headlines. Even in the best of times, it's probably not a good practice. And maybe not especially now. But maybe as you do that, the reading of the headlines turns to a crying out. Every morning I bring my request to you and wait expectantly, the psalmist says. And then lead me in the right path. Make your way plain for me to follow. I want to consider those words this morning. I want to ask together, what is the right path forward? When life becomes confusing, what are we to do when headlines are overwhelming and complex and disheartening? Our default, I think, for most of us, as people who've grown up in a Western culture with Western traditions, I think our default move is to try and think our way out of our difficulties. In our culture, in our tradition, the intellect is viewed as supreme. We kind of believe that if we just have enough time and enough cleverness, everything can be figured out. Everything can be solved. But the longer I live, the more I'm coming to the conclusion that that's simply not true. Not everything can be figured out. Life does not always give us the answers to why or provide us with neat and tidy resolutions. Not everything is knowable. There's these verses from Romans 11, 33 and 34, which Mark will put up here on the screen. And just listen to the way in which the Bible is quite comfortable with mystery. Oh, the depth of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God, how unsearchable are God's judgments and how inscrutable, what a great word, inscrutable God's ways, for who has known the mind of the Lord or who has been God's counselor? It's not that we can't know God. God reveals God's self to us in the created world, in each other, in the scriptures. But the idea that we can somehow figure God out, well, it's just false. It's not true, the scriptures say. And it's not the only thing we can't figure out. Now, let me be clear. Your intellect is one of the most profound gifts God has given you. And of course, it helps us make sense of this world, of our place in it, our relationship to each other. But it alone is not enough. I was driving to Holland this week, Thursday evening, right around, whatever time the sun is setting these days, around 6:30. It's about a 45-minute drive, and so I thought I'd listen to a podcast that I try to listen to called Pod Save the World. It's a foreign policy podcast, and that I try to listen to that, especially these days, so that I make sure I'm tracking what's going on in Gaza and Israel. If you don't know, that's part of one of my jobs is to help educate people around that conflict. So as you can tell, it's a real lighthearted podcast. Lots of joking and things of that nature. And I'm driving there listening to this podcast, and I can feel like the weight in my chest as I'm listening. And it's getting heavier and heavier. And what I'm doing is I'm listening and I'm trying to figure it out. Figure out all the things. What are the solutions? Well, what could be the way forward? Well, what if that happened? And my mind is doing what my mind is made to do. It's trying to problem solve and figure a way through the complexity. Nothing wrong with that. But then as I'm driving, the sun is setting. And I don't know if it's because I was driving with the rotation of the earth, but this thing lasted for a half an hour. And it just started lightly orange, and then for 30 minutes just went from this little band of orange to the whole sky just becoming this deep dark. And the silhouettes of the trees are pressed against it, and the buildings. And don't worry, I didn't take this picture while I was driving, but just to give you a sense, that's something like that. And of course, pictures never do justice, right? And in that moment, I had two realizations. All of my thinking is not going to solve these enormously complex things in front of me. And when I also stopped thinking so much and just tried to take in the beauty that was literally right in front of me, I could feel a shift happening in me. There was a change taking place. And so we need our intellect. It's a profound gift. And if we are to make it through complex, difficult, overwhelming, disheartening situations in our life, we will need to do more than think our way through it. We've been talking about this in January. Bethany led those weeks on our emotions, right? Inviting us to not just think, but to feel. Teresa inviting us to lean into the gift of music, which involves our intellect, but what does music do? It moves us, we say, right? It does more than just make us think. Today I want to invite us to surround ourselves with beauty. I want to suggest to you that beauty is a gift that can hold you up. It can rekindle hope. And it can give us a much needed alternative perspective. They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, yes, right? In other words, there's a subjectivity to it. So I wanted to ask you, for you, where do you often find beauty? Where are the places, generally speaking, or maybe a specific item or thing that often you find to be beautiful? Sydney, get us started. Your family. Wow. Take that moment in, you guys, okay? Yeah, feel that, feel that. Uh-huh. Okay, thank you. Who else? The stars. Dogs. Yeah, being by the water. Joan, did I see your hand going up? Right here in this family. I'll tell you what, just making the old eyes water this morning, everyone, okay. Yeah. Acts of kindness. Music. 100% for me too, Steve. Any place you can feel smaller. It's good foreshadowing. You didn't know it, but that's good foreshadowing is where we're going. Laughter, yeah. The art museum. National parks. I can't stand them, but I guess some people like them. I love them too. Yeah, they are deeply moving for me. A hug. Yeah. Couple more? Yeah? Diversity? I don't know particularly the way in which you're thinking of diversity, but human diversity. Yeah, thank you. And a good meal. We'll end on that because it just fits this community, a good meal. So, in a couple minutes, we've got a solid list. And of course, we could keep going. And some of these you may have heard someone say them and go, yeah, totally. And others you may have been like, oh, it's interesting. I hadn't thought of that before. Or that doesn't quite do it for me. But what I want to suggest to you today is that beauty, wherever we find it, is a necessary part. It is not like a nice add-on. I'm suggesting to you that beauty is a necessary part of a thriving life. And I think it is especially necessary when the circumstances of life are overwhelming or complex or disheartening. We need beauty. I want to think specifically about the way in which beauty brings balance to us. Right? Because when the only thing that we do is think, when everything stays up here in our intellect, I think one of the outcomes is that our perspective becomes very narrowed. All we think about is the thing that we're thinking about. It's all we can see. It begins quite easily to consume us. How do I fix it? What's the solution? Maybe I should, but what if? And again, we need to use the intellect. We should be asking good questions, of course. But if all we do is think, I think we can get buried in the thinking. It becomes the only thing that we see. But beauty can bring balance. It can take our very narrow, limited perspective when we get so hyper-focused on something, and beauty can help us pick our head up again and see the bigger world, the bigger picture. Atlas of the Heart. There's a picture of the book up here. We actually did a series on this a couple years ago. Brene Brown is in this book trying to give language to our emotional life. And she names two emotions in this book, among many: wonder and awe. Wonder fuels, she says, our passion for exploration and learning, for curiosity and adventure. Right? Wonder is finding the butterfly and being so captivated by this incredible creature that it propels you in your curiosity to learn more about it. Wonder kind of propels us forward into greater learning and exploration, she says. This is her way of sorting wonder and awe out. Awe, on the other hand, I'm going to go back to what Steve said, can make us feel small in the best way possible. It's the feeling we get in the presence of something vast that challenges our understanding of the world, and it causes us to fully appreciate the value of others and see other people more accurately, which evokes humility. You get into a space where everything is so big and you feel so small, or you recognize the smallness or the finality, the frailty of your life. And it does something to you in a way that connects you to other people. Connects you to something bigger than yourself. This is what awe does. It connects you to something bigger. And so think about some of these things, right? My suspicion is that when you encounter these things, you feel more connected to someone, to something, to God, to causes that are bigger than you. This is what beauty can do. Beauty can invoke awe, which connects us to each other and to the world and to God. And again, what is it? It's an expansive experience. Beauty expands our perspective, helps us pick our head up and see the broader picture, the other perspective, the other person. It's one of the gifts of beauty. It brings balance to us. Look at Psalm 8. The songwriters in the Psalms get this, get the connection between beauty and awe and connection. When I look at the night sky and see the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars you set in place, what are mere mortals that you should think about them? Human beings that you should care for them. This is what's happening here in the psalm. The psalmist is feeling small in the best way possible. Yet you made them, or us, only a little lower than God and crowned them with glory and honor. You gave them charge of everything you made, putting all things under their authority, the flocks and the herds and all the wild animals, the birds in the sky, the fish in the sea, and everything that swims in the ocean currents. O Lord, our Lord, how your majestic name fills the earth. Do you see what happened here? Caught up in this moment of the night sky and the stars. And it moved this person, this songwriter, to beauty and to awe. How small am I? How small are all of we in the expanse of the cosmos? And yet, God, here comes the connection part, we're just a little lower than you. We're connected to you because you've given us purpose and responsibility, which involves connection to all of the animals and all of the fish and all of the birds. This responsibility to care for. You see how these things kind of go together? Beauty brings balance. And yes, we have to use our intellect. We need to think carefully. And I am suggesting to you that whenever life feels overwhelming or difficult or complex or confusing, we especially need to surround ourselves with beauty. Because when we do, we open ourselves up. We remember our place. We remember we are a part of something much bigger, connected to someone much bigger. And so what I want to do with our remaining time in this part of the morning is give you a few opportunities to practice the engagement of beauty, engagement with beauty. 3 options. I think they're up here on the slide. One option this morning is, and you could do more than one, of course. One option is to be inspired by beauty. Teresa bought some flowers for all of you. And there's probably enough for everybody to have at least one. There are vases in the back with them in it. And in the next few minutes, you're going to have time to roam, to sit, to reflect. And if you'd like to get up and get a flower, we invite you to do that. And to take it back to your seat and to carefully consider it. Jesus even says, consider the lilies of the field, which is about, by the way, changing your perspective, opening yourself up, remembering, not hyper-focusing on worry. That's what worry is. Worry is hyper-focus on the thing that has your concern. Jesus says, look at the lilies of the field, and you'll be able to lift your head up and look more broadly and remember that God has you. Right? So take a lily, so to speak, this morning and consider it. That would be one thing you could do. The other thing on a slide, which Mark will put up in a few minutes, are some prompts that invite you to stay right in your seat and to try and notice what beauty is just around here in this space. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? To engage your senses in a way that would help you become more aware of the beauty that's right here. Because there is beauty in things that are a little bit kind of out of the ordinary for us, that maybe don't happen every moment. And there's beauty every moment right here, if we have eyes to see it. And then the third is to share beauty. Also on those back tables are some rocks and some Sharpies. And what we're inviting you to do, this is not my idea. This comes from a book whose title now again is escaping. What is it? Wake Up to Wonder. I always want to jumble those words around. Wake Up to Wonder. On the next slide, Mark, if you'd put that up, are those prompts and Karen Wright Marsh's name. In case you're curious of getting this book, which both Teresa and I would recommend, there's the title and the author down in the bottom right-hand corner. The prompts today come from her writing. But she has this idea of taking a rock and writing a word or a phrase that would invoke beauty or encouragement or joy for someone else who would find that rock wherever you're going to leave it. So the idea is you're going to take it, write a word or a phrase, and then this week you're going to leave that rock somewhere where someone else would find it. And who knows, perhaps be encouraged, inspired in some way, shape, or form. Okay? So that's the third option this morning, to share beauty. Okay. Flowers, these prompts, rocks, we'll give you about 5 minutes to wander around, to engage those however you'd like, or to stay right where you are. And then I'll kind of gather us back together for communion in a few minutes. All right, let's go. You're welcome to continue whatever you might be doing. As I introduce communion here for us this morning, which strikes me as a practice here for us of great beauty. Beauty in many forms. Beauty, of course, in the way that this meal reminds us of a life laid down, of an unending love, the power of sacrifice, the gift of a new beginning, mercy. All of that is here. The beauty of Christ's actions and gift. And it takes a form, it comes in the form of things that are quite beautiful. Today, if you choose to participate, you'll get a piece of bread. Just like we did with the flour, I invite you, because you'll probably have a moment before we eat it together. You'll come forward and get a piece and take it back to your seat, and then we eat and drink them together. Look at the piece of bread this morning. Have you ever noticed all of the air bubbles in there? Have you thought about where they come from? How did they get created? If you don't know, Google it. Learn something about bread. Let the wonder of bread this morning fuel your curiosity. Notice the beauty of the bread. I know you know what grape juice smells like, but have you just really smelled it? Smell it this morning. We won't think you're weird. Like, spend some time taking it in, noticing the beautiful smell that it is. And then, of course, we get to taste these things. So, these gifts of God for the people of God are full of beauty. Let's enjoy them together this morning. I need a few folks who are willing and able to help serve. And if you'd like to do that, you can just come on forward. And we'll have a station here in the front and then one in the back as well. Thanks, Clarence. Up in the front here will be a gluten-free option if you need a gluten-free option. Good to go in the back, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Beautiful. And as we say pretty much every week, but we think it's important to say every week, you're not expected to participate in communion. Don't do this just because we're doing it, or somehow you feel like there's some pressure, or what if no one's taking attendance. You have permission to remain in your seat if that is actually the way of connecting with God this morning. And everyone is invited. Everyone is invited to share in this meal with us. So, let's share. Come, friends. All things are now ready. Amen. its beauty. I hope you've taken it in a little bit this morning. The body of Christ, broken for you, Jesus says. Do this in remembrance of me, and we do. Let's take and eat. The cup of the new covenant. Covenant meaning a binding relationship. A life laid down means that now we're wrapped up into something profound and eternal. And we give thanks for that as we take and drink this morning. This little basket will make its way around, and you can put your cup in there, and then we'll take care of it from there. We're going to sing one more song here, and then we want to just share some final notes this morning on the fundraiser that starts this week. But first, this song, which invites us to remember that there is, as the psalmist said, show me the right path, because it's hard to know. This song reminds us that God will do that. God is like a lighthouse, like a beacon in the distance, and as long as we keep moving in that direction, love will be the outcome. So let's stand and let's sing about that here this morning.
In my wrestling and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead us through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing. My God's love will lead us through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. Right before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. Fire before us, you're the brightest.
You can have a seat, everybody. I think Madison said, we haven't sung this in like 8 years. Maybe not quite that long, but it's been a little bit, an oldie but a goodie. Sarah, why don't you come on up? Sarah's really been spearheading this work on a fundraiser, no doubt about it, no doubt about it. Sarah, what do you want to tell us that we need to know? We did get a handout on most-ish seats, so look around if you're wondering what she's talking about. You can find all the details on that sheet, but go for it. Tell us.
All right, so I wanted to say, as Chris was talking about beauty, one of the things I was thinking about is we are such a small community, and I've just been so blessed and honored by people's willingness to help and generosity, so I just want to say thank you for that. And in true branch fashion, we pivoted in case anyone didn't open the email.
That's right.
So we're still going to be doing our squares. So there'll be 125 squares that are available for purchase starting Wednesday, the 12th at 6 p.m. And there's a Facebook event that we're like probably bombarding your Facebook page with and Instagram page with, but show up for that. But instead of there being random prizes behind squares, we decided to do a live drawing, and that will be a week after the fundraiser ends. So on the 23rd, after the service, we're going to have all the prizes downstairs, and you are going to earn tickets for the squares that you purchase, and you can bring those tickets and enter prizes. And if you can't make it to the event, that's totally fine. There'll be a space for you to be able to message us what prizes you want to enter into. So I just thought I'd share a couple of prizes because I'm so impressed with this community. So here's just a few things. We have a Bonefish Grill gift card for $50. Stephanie is making some blueberry muffins, some scones, some chocolate chip cookies. Janelle's going to make a 3-tier chocolate mousse cake.
I'm sorry, what? Okay, excellent, okay.
Mr. Chris here has said, I have 2 4-hour gifts I'm going to give you to come to your house and do some work for you, which is like super wonderful. Teresa's going to show up at your next dinner party, and she's going to play music. Yeah, we're going big here.
Amazing.
We've got an Old Goat gift card.
Keyboard,
There's a Henderson Castle in Kalamazoo, and we have a $150 gift card for you to just go and stay a night at the castle.
Okay, sure.
Let's see.
Wow.
We have a $300 gift card to get a haircut or color from a wonderful Lauren Ducharme from Sense of Self. Well, she's high fashion.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna get as many as you
This
think.
is no
Yeah.
joke. Okay,
How would you like a night in a golf simulator?
I would love one.
Up to 4 people. They're going to provide snacks and drinks for you. Okay, so these are just, I can keep going and going. We have a lot of fun things. We have some gift baskets that are coming. So we are really excited. So one, yes, we want to bless our church by doing some of this fundraiser is to help us be more hospitable, help us be more welcoming. We're going to work on the sign out front. We're going to get some chairs and tables that we can all sit at, and we can move the tables. So we're going to get some great things for the church. So the thing I need from everyone this week, can you please share this event with
That's right.
family and friends? That would be huge. By word of mouth, by Facebook, by Instagram. Have everyone show up Wednesday. We're running it through Sunday. And again, great way to help the branch, but also really fun that you could win a prize. So if you have any more questions, also there is one more way to help if you want to donate anything. We are doing some gift baskets, and I think on Facebook there's a way to look and see. We need about 10 more things, and we will be all set with prizes. So if you have the opportunity or want to, you can donate a couple more things. Otherwise, we'll see you Wednesday night. So thanks, everyone.
We'll see you Wednesday night online, right? Yep,
Online.
not here, just to be clear, yep. And it's, Wednesday at 6, this thing starts, and these squares are first come, first served. So if you care, for whatever reason, about getting a certain number in this 1 to 125, you'll want to be on at 6 o'clock because it's first come, first serve, right? Kevin. Kevin, it's a great question. You can buy as many numbers as your heart desires. Yep. Yep, the higher the number, the more tickets you'll get for that prize part coming up 2 Sundays from today. Another question, yes, from the audience? How does it work? Yeah. Yeah, what do you click on? Sarah, feel free.
So there's an event page that will be
A Facebook event page.
Right. And so, yes, very good question. So this graphic will be up here, and you will just message the event page. I want this number and this number and this number. I will be furiously
She's gonna be
working
furiously
behind the scenes, blocking out the numbers, and you'll continue to get a new image. So you might send me one and say like, oh, my anniversary is the 21st. And I'll be like, I'm so sorry, the 21st was, but does 22nd feel good?
Yeah.
So.
Or how about 21 plus 21 is 42? Double it up. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah.
Or you can even take it times something. Yeah.
Sure,
Whatever
yeah.
you want to do. So I will be, and that image will start getting updated with numbers that are still available. No, it will be posted to the same Facebook event. The top will be, yeah, the top will have the most
Fair
images.
question. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, we'll still have numbers.
Oh, we'll
but
have
you may
numbers, yeah.
not, yeah, you may not get like your favorite number. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the way to Sunday at 6. We'll be running to
Yep. You
6
can get on
p.m.
24/7. Yep.
24/7. I'll be just staring at the
For
Facebook.
3 days straight,
Anyone?
she is at her
Anyone?
computer. Don't you worry, Sarah's got this. Yep. She actually, would you like help if someone wants to come and hang with you, or
Yeah.
does that make sense or not make
I
sense?
have a couple.
You
Yeah,
got
I
a
have
couple
couple
folks.
people.
Good. All right,
Janelle
so you're all
has
set.
helped me. I'm
Yep.
gonna let her.
Perfect,
Yeah.
perfect.
So does that? Sorry. Does that make sense, everybody?
Does that make
Any
a little
other
more sense? The
questions?
Facebook page, which the QR code is right here. If you're like, I hate finding things on Facebook, I get it. But that QR code will take you to the right place to post and say, I want this number at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. Yep.
Oh, 3 a.m. That's Janelle's
That's
shift.
Janelle for sure. Janelle's
yeah,
got
yeah,
the late
she's
night.
gonna take
Yep.
the third shift. Yeah. So go ahead. That number might not get marked out till like 7 or 8 in the morning. So, yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.
Anything else? Any other good questions? We certainly want to make sure you understand. And if you're trying to figure out, like, why would I share this? Or who would I share this with? You know, I think of, like, folks who love you and know what the branch means to you. Those would be people to share it with. So maybe it's a close relative or a dear friend who just knows that this place is meaningful to you. Those would be the kinds of people to specifically share it with. Can you just share the posts that we're putting up with anyone? Of course, anyone can participate. But if you're thinking, like, especially, who do I share this with? I'd think about those people. People who know and love you and know that this place means something to you. Yeah. Okay. Good? All right. Appreciate you all. Let's stand. You've been standing the whole time. Well done. Let's stand as we prepare to head into another week here. The playlist, yeah. Why don't, if you want that Spotify playlist, come and find Teresa and myself, and we'll get it. We'll get it to you. Thank you, Deb. Yep. Friends, this week, may you be people who have eyes to see beauty, so that your hearts can be open, and you can then be more aware of and connected to the God who loves you and this world that this God loves. Be those people this week. Amen.